$17 million. Their payment is $1.2 million. So if I did my math right before I came up here, and I apologize if there are math teachers that are correct me, I think that's around 7% of the district's budget goes to repayment of that state loan. Can you imagine having to take 7% out of your budget and run your school district? So at all costs, we want to avoid that. At all costs, we want to avoid that. Because that would be even more dire a situation. So I hope that clarifies a little bit what the county superintendent's role is. Again, our initial actions are to assist your staff in developing this multi-year financial plan and assisting you in developing a budget for 2012-13. There are huge obstacles to overcome. There is no easy solution. There is no silver bullet. There is no, if you only do this, then everything will be all right. It is a comprehensive look at how your funds are allocated. State assuring you, as we talked about before, you're getting 80 cents on the dollar that you're supposed to get, 80 cents on the dollar, and you're only getting about 70% of that 80 cents in the year in which you owed it. So not only are you getting shorted, you're getting deferred, you're having to go out and borrow money now. We're issuing trans to basically float a loan for the state of California. So it is a tough situation. We are confident at the county superintendent's office that we can assist you and do a good job in that. We don't think that the situation is, we believe the situation is salvageable. And not only just making it through, but making it through well, so you can continue to do what you're supposed to do, which is educate kids. That's the only purpose of the school district. Educate your students. You know, seeing the kids come up here beforehand, it reminds them, I'm so glad to see that you do that at every meeting. It reminds you of why you're here. You know, sometimes we lose sight of that. The end result the end result always is how well are we serving our kids. That's the end result. And our purpose and our focus has to remain on that. So I hope that answers any questions that you may have. If you have any other questions you'd like to ask me now, I'd be happy to answer.
Board members, questions?
One question. Now, when you talk about rescinding some of the decisions that are made by this board, typically what is an example of those types of decisions that you would rescind?
Usually, well, since it's never been done in this county superintendent's term, I'll tell you what I have heard from other parts of the state. Usually it's an expenditure of funds, right? And usually it's unrestricted general fund dollars, usually. So if there was a major purchase that was going to come out of the general fund, I'm going to make something up. You're going to buy a school bus, and it's going to cost you $500,000, whatever a school bus costs. And you decided to do that today. That might be something that we would look at and say, is that in the fiscal interest of the district? Now, if you entered into a labor agreement that was mostly out of the general fund, the increased cost, that'd be something that we would look at. Things along that line. Again, I don't anticipate us getting to that point. I don't think that's going to be the case. We are reviewing your budget. I'm here at the board meetings to just watch what you do, and anything that would happen on that would be done in writing. I mean, I wouldn't pop up in the middle of the meeting and say, "Oh no, you can't do that." That's not how it would happen. Ken would write you a letter and saying, I'm staying or I'm rescinding this action for these reasons, and give justification for it.
And any letters that are made from the county office, that would go to all the board members, or that would just go to the superintendent and the board president?
You go to the board president and the superintendent for distribution to all the board members.
Okay.
Any other questions? I have a comment and some questions.
Okay.
You mentioned the state, and we all mentioned the state, and they're really not friendly to education, I don't believe. Recently, I just heard that we are paying $758 million for this rail, this mid-California to Northern California, that 59% of our people do not desire, and that's only the interest on a loan. I forget our rating, we're not that high in California. So something has to change at the top. So we're going to do the best we can as a local agencies across this county. And this is the Ides of March in education.
Right.
It's a sad thing that we have to do these things. You stated that last time this year you were here. Last time this year this board was not here.
Right.
This board is going to take a direction to move forward and help so we never get in a situation like this again to negatively impact people's lives that take place in this time of year. To date, have there been revisions? How many revisions has the county interceded in, please, for us to make? I know we're in the second revision. Are there going to be others, or do you plan to do that?
Well,
when?
Yeah, let me kind of put this into a timeline for you a little bit. Tonight, you're looking at your second interim report. You'll be certifying as qualified,
Correct.
right? Just to put
And
that
would you tell qualified for the audience again?
Yes, a qualified certification. There are three types of certifications: a positive, a qualified, and a negative. Positive certification means, based on the finances we have today, we can meet our obligations in the current year and the two subsequent fiscal
Correct.
years. Qualified means we may not be able to do that. A negative means we will not be able to do that. Okay? So you're certifying tonight as qualified. 17 other districts in Riverside County are certifying as qualified. So 18 of our 23 districts are certifying as qualified.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first time we've had that. When prior to 2008-9, it would be unusual for us to have 2 or 3. That would be unusual to have that, and now we're up to 17. So that kind of puts it into a context. Of those districts that are in qualified status, there are from most concerned to least concerned. I would put Banning at the most concerned in that group.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll be working with you now after your second interim is submitted on 2 things: developing your multi-year financial plan and developing a budget for 12-13. Because what we want to be able to do is in 12-13 is approve your budget when we receive it, not disapprove it or have a contingent approval. So that is our goal. You have a lot of work to do here, and all the things that you're doing and your actions are kind of pointing toward that, getting yourself in position. So that's what we'll be working with you and your staff on. If we are all successful, then you submit your budget by June 30th. We give you a letter by August 15th saying you're good to go. Okay?
Last question, just to, I've got those emails too. Got emails too. The cost of your services for you attending here.
I'm pretty cheap.
Okay,
So you're not being billed for any of my services.
okay, we'll give you a cup of coffee.
That'd be great. That'd be
And the
great.
last question, King City, because I was up in Alisal, Monterey County, they went into receivership. Not when I was there because they wouldn't listen to me, they wouldn't have been. But is that the elementary district or is that the
That is King City. I think that's unified.
unified? Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Well, we thank you, Mr. Jessup, and we will see you next time.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.